Well, a good morning once again, and thanks for watching Sunrise at Sea. My name is Kira Natozo, and I'm going to be taking you through the first part of our views. And this basically what we do here. We get to talk about day-to-day things that happen, day-to-day life experiences, and we give you our perspective, advice. We're not experts, and sometimes we actually bring someone in the center of discussion. And joining me in studio from my far left is Sarah, Sandra, and Siobhan. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Kira.
Oh my God, I love that. Good morning, Kira. How are you?
We're good. How are you?
Looking good. Oh, you look amazing. Siobhan, you didn't get the memo.
I didn't get the memo, but also I love to be unique.
I love that. I love that. We love these fruits,
Yeah, the rainbow
you did a great
fruit
job.
skewer.
Yes, and the sandwich, Sarah, was amazing. It was amazing. So for those who missed out, please go follow us, on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and see what we're actually doing. You can try it and let us know. Now, as usual, we get to dive into issues that tend to happen day to day. And today we have, in regards to adult issues of adulting. We have so much pressure, growing up. Even today when I woke up, it was raining. I was like, oh my God, I really have to wake up and go to work.
Now you're an adult.
The pressure, yes, because I'm an adult. I need to look for that money, yeah? So another dilemma from a lady, I'm going to dive into it. A lady who needs help. And she says, hey CTV Sunrise, my name is Martha. I have been married to my husband for 5 years, and we have two kids together. My husband has always provided for me really well since the day I met him. Our kids are now grown, and it's time to take them to school. Based on the financial standing he showed me, I decided the school I wanted to take our kids to. I noticed him worry and become distant. He started avoiding the topic, and whenever I brought it up, we would end up fighting. This went on for months until one evening my husband sat me down and told me. This went on for months until one evening my husband sat me down and confessed that he lost his job 2 years ago, and we have been living above our means for a while now. I am devastated. I don't know what to do. We live in a rich neighborhood, and this is our social circle. My husband has kept this from me for 2 years. What else could he be hiding from me? Should she leave him? Please advise Martha. So ladies, I'm going to ask, why do you think the husband had to keep this away from his wife for 2 years?
Because of that very reaction, and because of the way she has even sent the letter. That is the main reason. You see, that's the whole point. The reason as to why the husband has kept this away from 2 years is because he has been scared that his wife would react in the exact same way she has reacted now.
Leave him?
Yes.
Would you leave your husband?
No. It makes me look like I'm in it for the money. I am not in a relationship or a marriage because I want material things.
Yeah.
And she has got to realize that there are going to be times when there are bad days.
Yeah.
So on bad days, are you going to run away from the man you walk down the aisle with and say, for richer or for poorer, unless you said for richer and for richer?
Maybe. Did you say for richer or for richer?
Exactly.
Well, COVID has affected so many people during this pandemic, they've been married for a couple of years now, and 2 years the husband was not telling her about all this that was happening. And we do realize COVID has affected so many people. So do you think the reason as to why that law on cash right now is because of the pandemic?
We don't know why they're low on cash, because Martha has neglected to tell us why the husband was lying in the first place or how he lost his job. But they've been married 5 years.
Yes.
He has been lying to her for 2 of those 5 years that they were together. That is a very big problem, and that is absolutely a deal breaker. For her, she could have been in her marriage, gotten into her marriage, because we get into marriages for different reasons, or relationships for different reasons. And there's nothing wrong for getting married so that you can have financial stability and security for yourself and your children.
Yeah.
It's a real reason. Some people do not value, maybe I'm saying that too strongly. But for some people, it's more than just love. For some people, they get into marriage to secure their future, to secure their children's future. So there shouldn't be anything wrong for saying, I got married because I want financial stability. And perhaps for her, the deal breaker is that he
lied about it.
Yeah. If he had come clean,
The
immediately this
situation
happened,
could
it
have been
wouldn't have
different.
escalated to this point.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
It could have. It couldn't have
Because
escalated to
we're
this
trying
point.
to find out, is her problem that he did not tell her, or is her problem that he now cannot afford her social standards?
Her
think it's in both
problem
ways.
her problem is, as she says it, what else
Could he be lying
hiding?
about?
Because lying for her is probably the deal breaker here. Their marriage could have ended at 3 years and she could have moved on. It would have ended at 3 years. 3 years back, perhaps she didn't have the children. 3 years back, perhaps, she was a lot more, a lot more lenient with what it is that she wanted out of the relationship. Or 3 years ago, she was probably still, planning her life, and maybe there was room for adjustment 3 years ago. But 2 years in, the next 2
It's a very
years,
long
you're
period.
lying to me about your financial standing. That is a big, why?
It is a big
Why
deal.
would you
Why?
do that? And I understand that he may have lied because he's afraid of her reaction. But this is the thing. Just because you have chosen to do something does not mean that you can dictate my reaction. I have every right to
very true,
react
yeah.
the way I want to, because that is how I feel. You lied. You lied.
That's true.
That's true. I agree with Sarah. And I would say this: do not hire a Ferrari if you can't drive it.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? If I'm used to that kind of life,
Yes.
please, either you have to maintain or step aside.
For another
Yeah?
one to take over.
You know what I mean? Because, like Sarah said, we go into relationships, any kind of relationships or marriages,
Yeah.
for different reasons. And let me tell you, on your reason, don't let anybody tell you anything. If it's for that security and finances, or, own it. Because it's your life. You get to live once. Life is not a dress rehearsal. You don't get a do-over. So live your life without any apologies and own whatever it is that you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this man must have shown her a particular lifestyle.
Thank you.
Very
Yes?
true, yeah.
So why are you pulling the rug from under my feet? Yet you promise me this lifestyle. I have seen things on social media where people go for introduction, and they bring cars, they bring things, and then at night
pressure.
they take them
Take back to the show.
It's for sure. Yes.
Serious.
These things happen.
Yes.
That's the pressure I'm talking about.
That's what I'm saying.
Pressure of meeting certain standards.
Yes.
But
But it doesn't have to be that way. But even in relation to what Sandra says, you see, that's the problem with men. You begin dating someone's daughter, showing them that you earn millions and millions of dollars. 2 years down the road, I am looking older than, I just don't understand. Most times when you find a woman before they have gotten married, they actually look good. 2 years down the marriage, they look wasted.
What
And
do you
most ti-
mean?
No, let me explain
Do
my
I look
point.
wasted?
No, you don't. You look amazing. Your husband is doing a good job. So the men have sort of carried these women to a level of they're doing well financially, and then later on in the marriage, they cannot keep it up, and then they say, oh baby, you know what, I cannot afford it anymore, and this is it. But that's not how it started. So I get the point that I get what Sandra is trying to say. The whole point of, if you can't manage a Ferrari, then
Don't hijack
if you can't even fuel it,
You can't maintain
stick
it.
to a boda
You
boda.
can't. Yeah.
We are
Also-
not going to lower our standards because of you cannot afford it.
Also, there is also a very big problem when you start out in, say, a marriage or relationship, and you're earning an income that is enough for two people.
Yes.
But as the years go by, because Martha now has children, the children get older, and children are very expensive. The
Very
older they get,
expensive,
the higher the costs. So now you find that perhaps this is an assumption, but it's also really something that is happening. Many people, get comfortable with salaries or incomes that they are bringing into their household, and they don't realize that, my family is getting bigger. Perhaps I should now start increasing my income as well. Because say for instance, you're bringing in an income, it could be a single income or joint income of about 5 million a month. This is just a rough estimate. Some families it's less, other families it's more. And that is enough for two people.
Very
but
true, yeah.
now
You have
now let's
extra
factor
people coming
in
the
two
family.
years later, now you have 2 children. Those babies have to go to kindergarten, they have to go to primary school, they have to go to secondary school, and as they get older, the cost increases, tuition costs increase, their clothes, you know, start getting more and more expensive. The appetites keep growing, you know. Then there are some who probably have allergies, there's probably, you know, health conditions, so it keeps
There's
on
a lot that
exactly
comes with it,
so
yes.
now you're 5 years into your relationship or your marriage, and you're still with an income that you started with when the two of you were not married. Of course it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Of course it's going to, you know, bring problems like Martha is facing in her
So
marriage right now.
Do you
where-
think she's being unreasonable?
No, I don't think so. I think she's reacting, you know, with the right amount of drama.
I don't think so. But also, I'd like to correct what I said, that on the issue of when you get married and then you look wasted, it goes back to the pressures of adulting. Because before you were single, you didn't have to look, you had to look good, and you really do not have anything going on in your mind. Probably you do not have children. But then when you get married, you start to have kids, you start to forget about yourself and how you look. That is what I actually meant when I did make that particular statement. I just needed to put that right. But also in relation to whether she's being irrational or not, I think she's being very selfish in my case. Because there is a reason she should actually ask herself, are my reactions so bad? Or are my expectations so high? Or have I put myself up there to the extent that my husband cannot even come and confide in me that I have lost my job? I think we're sweeping it under the carpet. By the time a man keeps a secret away from you for 2 years, then there's a problem with either both of you or mostly the woman. Because clearly, he's scared of that kind of reaction. Clearly, your expectations are too high. Or probably he doesn't even want to lose you. But then you need to work on that, because that means there's no communication. How can you be living? But also, how could she live with someone for 2 years and you're not even able to see that he has lost his job? Are the both of you communicating? Do you live in the same house?
No, I beg to differ. I beg to differ, Shivan, because whereby your argument has, you know, has some water to it, I am still thinking this guy is the one who lied. Yeah, he's the one who lied, and then now you have to start blaming yourself.
Deflecting.
That is,
and
yeah,
using her as
deflecting.
a
That is not.
scapegoat.
No. He's the one who lied. Let's keep the focus
I'm
here.
just saying she needs to weigh the two situations and think about why her husband probably did not.
Let me tell you why I think. Let me tell you why I think. And this goes back to what I said. Do not hijack a Ferrari if you cannot drive it. That man was weighing over his head. He knew he could not afford this woman. And according to what Sarah said, when you have an income and it's enough for 2 people, when you have kids, things change. Of course, he knew they were going to have kids. And he must have known that his income is not going like to grow exponentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he knew this from the get-go. Now, the tide has, you know, gone up, and he's trying to keep his head above water, and then he drowned. It was inevitable that he was going to drown. He knew this. He could not afford this woman.
Yeah.
He knew this.
Yeah, he should have come out earlier and talked about it. But then again, let's discuss what the root problem is here. Him lying about
I
his
think, yes,
income.
the root
And I
cause
think that
is-
is a big problem, especially for men in this, around the world. I mean, I have a little boy, a son, and I get worried so much with the pressures that are around, you know, the men,
Yeah.
you know, or little boys. You're told you're not allowed to cry because that is what girls do.
Yeah.
And it's not good and doesn't make you a man. You're told that your sole purpose as a man is to provide. You're being told people don't care about your emotions, people don't care about your suffering, people don't care about your tears. It's money, and if you're not providing money, then you are nothing, you're useless. So let's tackle that issue as well. The pressure, since we're talking about pressures of adulting,
Yeah.
that is a real problem for men, and many of them resort to crime, you know, stealing, you know, some murder,
Take it out
you
on the
know,
road.
you
Very
take
true.
it, you know,
Take it out on other people.
exactly. Others resort to, you know, drug addiction or alcoholism to try and cope with this
Yeah, with the
pressure that
pressure,
society puts on them. Others, end up
There's
lying like
very
Martha's
true.
husband.
Yeah.
So let's address that. And also, even though she does react in such a way and she wants to leave him, she has also probably been raised, and society is also telling her,
You
your
have to.
man is supposed to provide.
Yeah.
Point, period, black. That is it. And if he cannot give you financial stability, then why are you with him? Then he's, nothing. So it's very important that we tackle this and address it, because it's really real, especially for men. The pressure
It's mostly on men,
to
by the way. Yeah.
provide financially is really
man
high
up.
on them. Yes.
There's a lot. Well, I'm gonna. The last question that would be, as we wind up, is: do you think she should leave him? But as you hold that thought, I want to go through some of the comments that people actually came through. And the first comment comes in that says he lied, but still kept providing for her and the kids. If that's so, that lying is justifiable. Is it, guys? Then my first question is, as a lady, what was she contributing to the family?
Oh, that is, I am tired of women saying that. They think in a marriage we just bring our calves and birth certificates. That is not.
And
That
national
is not
IDs.
true. And national
Well, what
IDs.
do you bring to the table?
Yeah, that's what they say. We bring our birth certificates and calves. That's not what,
And looks.
especially when you're a mother. And what she was saying, gender norms, the man is providing. But even in her letter, as a woman, as a mother, I'm a mother, she's deciding what schools her kids should go to.
Yeah.
Because you are so involved in your kids'
Yeah.
lives, the education
It's
that
actually
they
a lot
have.
of what being
And
a
being
mother.
a mom is a full-time
It's
job.
a full-time
full-time
job, and you decide the schools they go to. You teach them how to behave at home. Yeah, I have 2 little kids, and you have to teach them, do this, do that,
How
don't
to
do, say
sit.
please, thank you, address. It is a full-time job. When they are sick, when they are this, yes, he has gone out there to get the bacon, to bring the bacon home,
But who
but
is
you're also
cooking it?
holding the fort at home, and that is a full-time job. Do not ask what was she bringing to the table. Yeah, we bring a lot to the table,
A
not
lot.
just our birth certificate and
I know.
cards.
Sandra is not happy.
No, I'm not.
I don't like
Absolutely
the fact
not.
that when men, most times, when a kid does something bad, they say you belong to your mother, But then when you do something good,
That is my
Yes,
job.
that's
that
my,
is
that's
my-
my
yes.
child, Anyway, more in the comments. Another comment comes in from, there's no name, however, she says, yes, it does, but also men go an extra mile to provide for their families, as Sandra said. Now, that's to question the lady's integrity. If she can't even think of leaving the man because he cannot afford to take kids to the schools of her expectations, then that's not a good thing. Yeah. Then another comment comes in from Kirinya Judith, who says, leaving isn't a solution. Sit down and talk freely comfortable with him and find ways of how to work things. Yeah, just like what you
That should
say.
be the best way.
Yeah,
Sit
but the
down, have a roundtable conversation, and see how best you can make things work out instead of running away when things get bitter.
Yes. Then we have another comment from Claria Betty, who says, patience is key. Take time to understand his position now. Very true, still what you say, Siobhan. And then we have another comment from Susie Jinga, who says, sit with your husband and talk. You better start to work and help your man, okay? Leave him, not an option. Leaving him is not an option or an answer. Very true. That's all we had from the comments, yeah? So I do agree with you, ladies. Men should actually, I'm not saying man up, If you're struggling, if you're really struggling with something, have a discussion with your lady. Sandra, you're married, yeah?
Yes.
How would you advise Martha to handle this situation?
Well, I think there's a lot that I don't know. As Sarah said, we don't know what their agreement was before they got married.
I think she's used to a certain kind of life.
Yes.
And even before I think they got married, she was
Yes.
used to a certain kind of life. And now that things are flipping over, she's wondering, do I really need to stay in this marriage? Why not get maybe someone who can actually now take care of me or meet my standards?
So what I would advise her is, you have to weigh your options in a sense that you can talk to him, yes, but sometimes you can talk to someone, but you're very adamant about what you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That if you stayed there, you wouldn't be happy. I'm not talking about moral issues here or anything. I am just talking about this particular lady and what she wants at the end of the day. So she should sit and ask herself, what do I want? Do I want this life more and this status more than I want to be in a marriage? You know what I mean? If that's what she wants, then she should go.
Yeah.
But if she wants to be in a marriage and she loves her husband and she thinks, you know what, this is something that I can navigate. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a job now, doesn't mean he's going to be jobless forever. We have certainly gone through a pandemic and people have lost their livelihoods. So she should weigh on that too. I mean, the tide could change at any time. So she has a big decision to make. And that's what I would advise her. She has to be honest with herself.
Yeah.
And see what would work
Sarah,
for
what
her.
do you have to say?
Leave.
Sorry, you're going to say leave.
No, for me, I think what Martha should do, instead of bickering about what has happened, she should ask herself, what are we going to do about this?
Yeah.
And it's not just about talking. Talking is good. Let's talk about it. But what are we actually going to do about it? How can she help improve this situation? Okay, because they may have some time until maybe things may actually go south, like really bad. Or, I mean, just how can we do this? And also another thing when it comes to making big decisions, especially when it comes to relationships, not just relationships, but anything in my life in general. I'm not married, but I use this principle. I use the 80-20 rule.
80-20.
80-20 rule.
Okay.
Say for instance, if you write down the pros and cons to whatever the situation is, and your pros outweigh your cons, then of course go with the pros of it. But if your cons outweigh the pros, then leave the situation. So Martha, she hasn't said he's a bad man. She hasn't said he's a bad father. She hasn't said that he has failed to provide. She has said in her letter that he lied. And that is what has really hurt her about the situation. So that is, him lying is probably just the 20%. But let her look at the 80%. Perhaps she can salvage this marriage. And also, let her be a team player. Let her help him out. How do we fix this situation, honey? Do I have to now start working? It doesn't work for me, but teamwork
makes the dream work.
Girls gotta do what a girl's gotta do, right? Well, it was a great conversation, ladies, and I love the input. I really hope this actually helps Martha. Martha, if you're watching, I hope what the ladies said can actually help. Yeah, so outweigh, take notes and find out, is it just the 20% or the 80%? You know, be with your man. You got married for better, for worse. If possible, get a job. Find ways of actually helping your husband. Cut down on costs when need be. If you've been extra, tone it down. Yeah, well, I do hope we did help you, Martha. And for those watching, do not blink, as Sarah will be coming back with surrogacy.